This video was originally recorded September 2019 at the home of Robert and Nena Thurman.
Okay, greetings. This is an emergency broadcast from the Bob Thurman podcast. It's an emergency because we're having an emergency in this country, and a major inflection point in the emergency is the election of 2020. We have an emergency about our democracy. We have an emergency about our planet. Global warming, or what I prefer to call global overheating, has put us in a very dangerous situation if we do not start with emergency measures right away. It must not be allowed to happen. So here's the emergency thing. I call it the Dream Team campaign for 2020. So what is the emergency Dream Team plan? The emergency Dream Team plan is that the candidates for the presidency, do not allow themselves to be manipulated by the media and by the opponent party into a circular firing squad of a normal primary, of who's the greatest, opposed to the others are not great. Instead, everybody is great who is trying to run for president. They actually are trying to serve the people. It's a rough job, and nobody who's doing the job properly is there to enrich themselves. That's currently the one there. That's what he's doing. But this is not what should be done as a president or any kind of politician. They're there to serve you, the people. And so the way to do that is they create a dream team by appointing themselves as the cabinet ahead of time. And they all have likely expertises. This one is good for, Elizabeth Warren is good in finance. Bernie is good in analyzing the health care and also relations to the Senate. Kamala is a prosecutor. She'd be a good attorney general. Beto is a nature guy. He'd be good interior secretary. Inslee is good for climate change. Buttigieg would be good in education since he's a fabulous brain. He's a great mind, etc. And all of them, Cory Booker would be a great Secretary of State. Julian Castro would be a good Secretary of State too, but they can work it out, for different constituencies. And so they do that, and they do it. They get Nancy Pelosi to work with them, the DNC officials, Democratic National Committee officials to work with them, and they make a very plausible cabinet without selecting the president and vice president, because that's your choice, the Democratic voters. They will choose. They will still have primary elections, and you will eventually vote. And then we go back to the old system that used to be when you had party politics, which was the one with the most votes in all the primaries is the president. And the second runner-up is the vice president. Never mind what their disagreements may be. The second runner-up is the vice president, so that both supporters of president and vice president feel they're winning. So we have a unified party going in, and all the ones who really liked one of the other candidates who don't win that, they're going to have their candidate putting their opinion forward to the president and vice president, because whoever is president and vice president, all of the Democratic candidates will agree. They will accept them in their positions in the cabinet. And those who you pick out and you remove from their cabinet secretary position will place someone of like mind in their cabinet. For example, if Elizabeth Warren is Secretary of Treasury, which she would be the ideal Secretary of Treasury, but if she was chosen as president, she would put someone who would enact policies related to what she would do as Secretary of Treasury. You can guarantee that. If Bernie was a vice president or a president, he would put someone in health secretary who would do what he would. If Pete Buttigieg was president, he would put a education secretary who would do what he would do, and so forth and so on. You can understand the practice. This dream team then could still have debates if the Democratic National Committee and the media want them to. But their main thing, since they'll be now a dream team offered to you with their curriculum vitae right out in front of you, what they're expert at, what they're good at, they would begin campaigning now. The money they would spend fighting each other with ads, they will spend on airplane, and they will go and hire a stadium, and they will counter-campaign. The current person who is president is not actually governing. except calling up to get political dirt in foreign countries on the opponents. He's just campaigning. And so he'll be campaigning the next 13 months. And so the Dream Team will also campaign the next 13 months for themselves as a team, not cutting short your choice of president and vice president, but bringing the president, bringing in the whole team ready to go from the very start. Joe Biden, he will be the Secretary of Defense. My vote, he would be Secretary of Defense, because as an old-timer and a professional and having served in all kinds of other ways in the government, he could maybe make them make a budget for that hundreds of billions of dollars that they get, which they've not been able ever to budget. He might do that. And of course, he might be chosen as president. He's one of the leaders at the moment. And then someone else would be Secretary of Defense. So this way, no one person can be scandal attacked by the Fox News. No one person can be called, they're all socialists, because Bernie insists on using that term, confusing people. He only means Sweden, Norway, and Denmark. He doesn't mean Maduro, Venezuela, China, Russia. Absolutely not. He only means the Scandinavian version, which is excellent. And actually, he just is shifting the American socialism that we already have. And what we have now is we have socialism for the 1%. They get 86% of the tax cuts. They get all the tax deductions. They get really too much pay and too much deduction for their capital growth, So therefore, they are really out of touch with the needs of the country, which is not happy for them even. It's not even good for them. They don't even want it, the nice ones. They're happy to be top echelon. They're creative people, and we love them, and we want them to help in this activity. But when it's too polarized, it's not nice for them. Or it's certainly not nice for the 99%, especially the bottom 20 or 30 or 40% is not nice right now. So that's my dream team.
This video was brought to you in part through the generous support of the Tibet House US membership community and viewers like you. To learn more about the benefits of Tibet House membership, please visit tibethouse.us. Thanks for watching. Tashi Delek.